Hey guys, it's Caleb from Brickloaf, and this past week we took a trip to Legoland for Colin's birthday, and we want to share some of our experience with you guys, so let's begin. So we wanted to go to Legoland for Colin's birthday, and we also happened to have a couple buy one get one free tickets that came with some of the Lego sets we've bought recently, and so we only paid for 2 tickets to go, and we went in the middle of the week, and it was a somewhat hazy, kind of rainy day, and when we got there, the park was nearly empty, and it remained that way for most of the day. Now we got to the park as soon as it opened, and we stayed until just before dinner time, and we managed to ride all the rides we wanted to ride, see all the attractions, and even take a stroll through the old Cypress Gardens park. Because we went during the middle of the week, and the weather, and the fact that it's pretty much the off-season of Legoland right now, it was a really fun experience to get to ride all the rides and see all the attractions, where it was really just us on the ride and only a few people scattered throughout looking at all the exhibits. It was very interesting for us to go to Legoland because we haven't been since 2016, and there have been a lot of new attractions and exhibits since then, and it was also interesting for us to look at some of the Lego displays and see how they've changed over time, faded and such. Before we even walked in the gates, we immediately saw that the Pirate Island Hotel was definitely new since the last time we went to Legoland, so maybe that's somewhere we'll go in the future and kind of tell you guys about. So the first thing we saw when we walked in was a giant Lego birthday cake, which was celebrating the 10th anniversary of LEGOLAND Florida. And inside one of the first buildings you come across when entering, there is a small exhibit room where they have the history of Legoland Florida when it was old Cypress Gardens, and a little bit of the history of Lego, as well as at the end, the 3 finalist creations from LEGO Masters Season 2. Now, like I said, the park was practically empty, so the wait times on all the rides was non-existent. Most of the time, we went straight through the line, and we didn't have to wait at all. We just walked straight onto the ride. And so we didn't ride everything, but we rode most of the new things that we haven't ridden since the last time we went, which includes the LEGO Movies Masters of Flight, and things like the new LEGO Ninjago ride. And what was cool about this ride is that you had to swipe your hand over a little sensor, which would throw shurikens over the TV screen. So it was a lot like the Toy Story Mania ride, if you've seen that at Disney. And it was a really cool feature that allowed a group of people to kind of play an arcade game and try and beat each other out for the points. We had actually finished most of the park by lunchtime and stopped to grab burgers at one of the restaurants there. One of the most impressive things that we saw was that their Miniland USA, where they have all their recreations of real-life cities and such, had a massive canopy over it all to protect the Legos from sun damage and rain damage and such. You could see that since the last time we had been, there have been a lot of fading on the Legos. There were quite a few new buildings there as well, but some of the animatronics had stopped working, especially in the water section. A lot of the boats no longer moved like the last time we went. A lot of the pirate ships revolved. There wasn't much of that going on this time, but structures like the Space Shuttle and the Space Center were still working. The Washington DC diorama, the Statue of Liberty, Las Vegas. Something that seemed new to us since the last time we've been was the Florida State Capitol, with some structures from St. Augustine and the Bok Tower Gardens. But it's always fun to look at the buildings and maybe get some inspiration for how to incorporate that into our city. And when we had finished with most of the Lego attractions, we actually went through the old Cypress Garden area. And what's really special about Legoland Florida is that they didn't just plow through and remove all of the old Cypress Garden stuff. They actually have a lot of the old structures. They keep the gardens. They have a lot of historical plaques out so people know what the buildings were and such. And they're doing a lot of updating. They're going through the gardens and replanting. They're actually working on a new attraction for the pirate stuff where it'll take you through on a boat through the Cypress Gardens area. So we're really looking forward to seeing that sometime in the future. Supposedly it says online that attraction will be done in 2022. But the pathways at the old Cypress Gardens area are actually very long. It's a nice hike to kind of take a break from all of the rides and just go on a quiet walk. It was also cool because we saw one of the old Cypress Gardens houses being converted into some sort of new attraction near the Lego Friends area, so that'll be interesting to see what they do with that sometime in the future as well. Something that kind of runs throughout the park is that they have a very nice scenery at Legoland Florida. So when you're in the themed worlds like Ninjago or the Lego Movie area, there's a lot of scaled up Lego displays and props. But when you're walking around, going to look at food or walking down pathways in between the lands, there's actually a lot of landscaping, so the park looks very nice. There's a lot of design through it, and I think they do a really good job at keeping the park clean and making it a nice place to walk through and spend some time. We did most of our shopping at the end of our trip, but LEGO does have this new thing where any products that you buy throughout any of the attraction stores can actually be placed on a list where someone will come by every so often to the stores and carry it to the front for you. That way you don't have to carry your LEGO through the park. You can actually just buy it there when you see it, and when you're done with your trip, give it a couple hours, you can pick it up from the front, which is really nice. There's actually a warehouse store where they had a massive pick-a-brick wall. They had a lot of new sets, big sets, old sets, and they even had this little creation where you get all the pieces you need to build a Lego dragon. And so that was a lot of fun to drop by, but we didn't really get anything from there. We were really waiting to go to the last store at the end of the park. And the store at the end is huge. They have so many Lego. So there was actually a Lego Titanic on the shelves. And this is something we haven't seen at any Lego store we've been to. And for as far as we know, you couldn't actually get it unless you ordered it online. So it was really interesting to see the box right there available for purchase. We didn't end up getting it just because they don't have the same deals as a Lego store, because it's a Lego park. There's a little bit of a difference. So instead of the, VIP points you earn, you just get a discount instead. So we just decided that we weren't quite ready to get it at that moment. We did buy a few smaller things though, like the exclusive Lego store set. We got the new Lego City Stunts chicken guy because I've been waiting for this guy for forever. We got minifigures, which are the skeleton ones for Halloween, the wizard and the tiger kid. And we got a pack of the Lego Movie 2 sewer baby packs, which are really funny. We want to add those in our city because it was just something really funny that we liked from the movie. And we can't believe they still had this for sale there, so we had to grab one. Now it was getting towards evening and we had a really fun experience at the park, and we were preparing to leave when an employee asked us if we had a good time, and we said we definitely did. And they told us to step aside to go to the window and that they were giving out some offer. Now the person at the window scanned our tickets and gave us 4 free water park and regular park tickets to come back January to February of next year. Now we had only paid for 2 tickets to go to the regular park, so it was really nice to get 4 free tickets to water park and regular park to come back in just a couple of months. And it'll be really interesting to see what changes since we just went, and it'll be nice to see what they have in stock at the store, and just to take the day off to go walk through the Cypress Gardens and walk through the exhibits and just have a relaxing time through the park. Now if you're interested in going to Legoland Florida, the best time to go is during the week in the off season, which is winter. If you're going to go and you can look at the weather, a hazy day is probably not going to have as many people as the really bright and sunny ones are. But if you want very few people in the park so you can kind of get the experience to yourself, ride the rides to yourself, the best time to go is during the week in the off season. Now keep in mind that the park is about 40 minutes from Orlando. So you're probably going to want to get there really early to the park, and then finish early so that you can maybe go to Disney Springs to get dinner or somewhere else in Orlando and walk around, because Disney Springs also has a Lego store, which we dropped by, of course, on our way back. And we didn't end up getting anything from the Lego store in Disney Springs, but they did have the Titanic on display. They didn't have it for sale, but they had it on display. And this was the first time we've seen this thing in person, and it was huge. There was so much detail, and I can't imagine what it's like to put this thing on a shelf. It is extremely long. But we had a really fun trip, and we're so glad we went. There was a lot to see. We had a really fun time, and we hope that if you're interested in going for a relaxing trip somewhere, that maybe you'll check out Legoland Florida and have a good time. Like always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please leave a like and please subscribe to see more.